My friends, stay centered, not because the world has suddenly become easier, and not because every challenge has disappeared, but because you have discovered something much more powerful than the habit of reacting. You have discovered that your inner state is where real power begins, and nothing outside of you can control your life unless you first give it permission. The moment you truly understand this, everything around you starts changing in ways that seem surprising, yet completely natural. Most people believe peace comes only after life improves. They wait for good news, perfect timing, or clear signs before they finally allow themselves to relax. But the deeper truth is the opposite. Life begins to improve after you relax. Everything starts reorganizing the moment you stop demanding that life change before you feel calm. You step into quiet confidence. You stop chasing every outcome. Somehow the outcomes begin finding you. That is not luck. It is a different way of living. Stay with me, because what comes next explains why so many people struggle without realizing the real reason. Being unbothered does not mean becoming distant or emotionally cold. It means you are deeply grounded. It means your peace is no longer something the outside world can take away. Your reactions are no longer automatic habits created by old fears or painful memories. Instead, you begin responding from calm confidence instead of emotional impulse. And once that shift happens inside you, the world around you slowly starts responding in a different way. The situations may look the same, but your experience becomes completely different. Every challenge you face is not created only by the event itself. It is shaped by the meaning you choose to give it. Two people can walk through the exact same experience. One feels defeated, while the other remains steady. The difference is rarely intelligence, strength, or good fortune. The difference is the belief each person carries within. One believes the situation has all the power. The other believes that true authority begins inside. When you stay calm in difficult moments, you silently send a message that cannot be ignored. You tell yourself, "This does not define me. This moment does not decide my future. This situation cannot touch my deepest sense of who I am." Those words never need to be spoken out loud, because your feelings communicate them more clearly than language ever could. What you consistently feel leaves its mark on the direction of your life. Life responds more to emotional certainty than emotional chaos. The stronger your inner calm becomes, the easier things begin falling into place. Watch carefully, because this is where most people unknowingly lose their power. They spend their days negotiating emotionally with everything around them. They become anxious, hoping someone will notice. They worry because they think it will prepare them. They react quickly because they believe reacting gives them control. But every one of those habits quietly strengthens the belief that life controls them instead of the other way around. And once that belief becomes normal, every challenge feels bigger than it really is. The person who remains unbothered understands a completely different truth. They know that attention shapes experience. They understand that emotion acts like a direction, and the feelings, repeated day after day, slowly become their reality. Because of this, they carefully guide what they feel, not by pretending emotions do not exist, not by pushing pain away. They simply choose where their attention will stay. When something unexpected appears, they do not rush into fear. They do not immediately create a negative story. They pause. They breathe. They allow themselves to remain neutral for a moment longer than everyone else. And inside that quiet pause, something remarkable begins happening. New possibilities appear that panic would have hidden. Better decisions become easier to see. The mind becomes clear instead of crowded. Reality often starts changing because they refuse to give fear the first word. Think about how many times a small problem became much larger simply because the imagination filled in details that never happened. Most suffering begins long before reality actually demands it. The mind predicts, the body reacts. Then those reactions convince you the danger must be real. But the calm person interrupts that cycle. They wait before judging. They observe before deciding. They understand that not every uncomfortable moment deserves an emotional emergency. Keep watching, because the next realization may completely change how you respond to life from this day forward. Once you stop giving every outside event the power to decide how you feel, you begin living with a quiet confidence that other people immediately notice. You no longer need constant approval. You no longer chase certainty before taking action. Your peace becomes your foundation instead of your reward. This changes your relationships, your work, your opportunities, and even the way strangers respond to your presence. Calm people create calm environments. Steady people naturally influence uncertain situations. That is why remaining unbothered is never passive. It is one of the strongest positions you can choose. Every time you refuse to be pulled into unnecessary fear, frustration, or panic, you remind yourself that your inner world comes first. And when your inner world stays stable, your outer world slowly begins matching that stability. This does not mean every problem disappears overnight. It means problems stop deciding who you become. Your confidence grows because it is no longer built on perfect circumstances. It is built on trust in yourself. That trust becomes stronger with every challenge you face calmly. Every peaceful response rewrites an old habit. Every steady decision strengthens a new identity. Little by little, life reflects the person you have chosen to become rather than the fears you once carried. And that is the real transformation. It begins quietly. It grows steadily. Then one day you realize the situations that once controlled your emotions no longer have that power. You remain centered. You remain clear. And from that place, everything else begins to move differently. This is where real transformation begins. Not in panic, not in struggle, but in calm confidence. A miracle is often nothing more than the moment your inner belief changes, removing the distance between where you are now and where you want to be. It happens when you stop demanding constant proof and begin living with quiet certainty. When you stay unbothered, you stop fighting the present moment. You no longer waste emotional energy feeding situations you do not want. Instead, you settle into the mindset of someone who already feels whole, and life, which naturally reflects the energy you continue to hold, starts arranging itself in unexpected ways. Think about how often strong emotional reactions delay the very things people hope for. Anxiety freezes progress. Endless overthinking keeps opportunities out of reach. Emotional storms trap people inside the same repeating patterns. But steady expectation creates space for movement. Quiet confidence welcomes new possibilities. Inner balance removes obstacles that once looked impossible. Staying calm is not weakness. It is one of the strongest forms of inner discipline. It asks you to trust what you know inside more than what your eyes currently see. It asks you to believe that what has already changed within you is still moving forward, even when today's circumstances seem unchanged. Stay with me, because this next idea explains why calm people often experience breakthroughs that others call impossible. This is why those who remain steady often witness surprising changes. New opportunities appear without constant chasing. People begin acting differently without arguments or pressure. Problems seem to solve themselves in ways that cannot always be explained by logic alone. From the outside, it looks like luck. From the inside, it simply feels like the natural result of something that has been unfolding quietly all along. The reason is simple. Once you stop feeding the old story with fear and emotional reactions, that old story slowly loses its influence. Your life continually reflects the conversations taking place inside your own mind. When your inner voice changes from asking, "Why is everything working against me?" to quietly believing, "Everything is already moving in my favor," your direction begins to change as well. When you stop fighting every circumstance emotionally, you remove the energy that keeps those struggles alive. Anything that is no longer constantly fueled begins losing its strength. This is why remaining unbothered is far more powerful than most people realize. It does not mean pretending problems do not exist. It means refusing to give temporary situations permanent authority over your emotions. And that single decision can completely change the path ahead. Don't miss this, because the next part may completely change how you think about waiting. Being unbothered also means you stay peaceful during the quiet seasons. You no longer panic simply because progress cannot yet be seen. You understand that unseen movement is still real movement. Strong roots grow where nobody can watch them. Seeds begin opening long before they ever break through the surface. The greatest transformations almost always begin in silence, before anyone notices them. Because of this, you remain steady. You stop chasing signs every single day. You stop asking when everything will finally happen. You stop replaying endless stories about failure before life has even had a chance to unfold. Instead, you choose to believe that the process is already working. You begin living as if what you hope for is already making its way towards you. This is often where life begins moving faster. Once your inner world no longer argues with the future you want, everything starts flowing with less resistance. Many people unknowingly interrupt their own progress by reacting to every temporary delay. They speak about confidence, but secretly rehearse doubt. They imagine success, then answer every obstacle with frustration and fear. The calm person chooses something different. They return to peace again and again. They return to trust every single day. Even when emotions try to pull them away, they gently come back to stillness. That quiet consistency becomes stronger than any single emotional moment. As you continue remaining calm, something else begins changing almost without effort. The way people respond to you slowly becomes different. Conversations feel lighter. Respect grows naturally without you demanding it. Tension fades because your presence no longer feeds conflict. This does not happen because you forced anyone to change. It happens because your calm quietly communicates confidence. Peace has its own kind of strength. Calm has its own quiet influence. People often respond more to who you are being than to what you are asking for. Many of life's greatest blessings arrive disguised as completely ordinary moments. A conversation you almost canceled opens a new opportunity. A delay protects you from a mistake you never saw coming. A closed door quietly guides you towards something much better waiting ahead. The person who stays unbothered does not dismiss these moments as random accidents. They recognize them as signs that life has been working behind the scenes all along. Once desperation disappears, your vision becomes clearer. You notice possibilities that fear had hidden from you. You begin trusting the process instead of controlling every detail. You release the need to decide exactly how every answer must arrive. And that is where true freedom begins. The moment you stop forcing every outcome, life often finds a better path than the one you could have imagined. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough is not that everything around you changes overnight. It is realizing that your greatest strength has quietly been growing inside you all along. And from that place of steady confidence, the impossible slowly begins to feel completely natural. The need to control almost always grows out of fear. Trust grows from quiet certainty. When you truly trust what you have already accepted inside yourself, you give life the space to surprise you in ways you never expected. And life often saves its greatest surprises for the people who stop trying to control every detail. This does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means your actions come from inner balance instead of nervous pressure. You move because the moment feels right, not because fear is chasing you. You speak from a calm place instead of reacting to every emotion. Your choices become clear, well-timed, and surprisingly effective. You waste less energy, yet your results begin to grow. Here is the beautiful paradox. The less you interfere emotionally with every situation, the faster many things begin to settle. The more peaceful you remain inside, the more smoothly the outside world begins to adjust around you. Extraordinary moments are not breaks in the laws of life. They are often the natural result of living in harmony with deeper principles that respond to belief instead of force, to awareness instead of struggle. Keep listening, because this next realization changes everything. When you remain unbothered, you stop allowing the world to shape your identity. Instead, your inner state quietly starts shaping the world you experience. You stop asking yourself, "What if this fails?" and begin living with the calm confidence of someone who already believes success is unfolding. You do not need to prove it. You simply carry that quiet confidence everywhere you go, and life gradually begins responding to it. There will still be moments when old habits try to pull you back. Your mind may want to overthink every detail. Your emotions may begin building pressure, asking you to react immediately. But now you know something different. You no longer fight yourself. You simply return to your center. You remember what is true. You remind yourself that nothing outside you can disturb your deepest peace unless you choose to hand it that power. Every single time you return to stillness, that inner foundation becomes stronger. Over time, being calm stops feeling like something you practice. It becomes the way you naturally live. Problems stop feeling personal. Delays stop looking like final decisions. Difficult seasons stop convincing you they will last forever. You begin understanding that everything outside you is temporary, while your inner attitude remains your own choice every single day. So you choose wholeness. You choose fulfillment before circumstances demand it. You walk through life as though you are supported. You speak with the confidence of someone whose words matter. You make decisions believing wisdom is already guiding you. You rest because your foundation is secure, not because everything is perfect, and life always reflecting the attitude you consistently carry, quietly begins confirming what you already believed inside. This is the deeper miracle. The greatest change is not only that circumstances improve. The greatest change is that they improve because you refuse to abandon your peace. Stay with me, because the next idea may completely change how you see every challenge that comes your way. When you remain steady, life begins moving in ways that seem almost effortless. When you stay unbothered, your reality slowly reorganizes itself around the quiet confidence you carry every day. You learn to trust what cannot yet be seen, knowing the visible world eventually follows. Looking back, you may realize everything changed the moment you stopped trying harder and finally started trusting deeper. Even now, as these words reach you, something inside probably recognizes this truth, not as a clever idea, not as temporary motivation, but as something deeply familiar, almost as if you have always known peace was never waiting at the finish line. It was available the moment you chose it. Once you stop fighting life every step of the way, life often stops feeling like a battle. Many difficult moments are not punishments. They are opportunities asking one simple question. Will you return to fear, doubt, and old habits? Or will you remain loyal to the stronger version of yourself you have already chosen? Every situation offers that same invitation. Every calm response strengthens a new identity. Every peaceful decision reminds your mind that pressure no longer controls you. Holding your composure during uncertainty is not pretending problems do not exist. It is choosing a different place from which to face them. You decide that your inner world becomes the reference point instead of temporary outside conditions. And once that decision is repeated often enough, everything begins adjusting around it. This is why emotional mastery is never about pretending you have no feelings. It is about choosing which thoughts deserve your trust, which emotions deserve your attention, and which stories deserve your energy. What you consistently choose today slowly becomes automatic tomorrow. Eventually, staying calm no longer requires effort, because calm becomes part of your identity. Once peace becomes who you are, urgency begins losing its power. Fear may still knock at the door, but it no longer moves into your life. Impatience slowly fades because you stop feeling separated from what you hope to receive. Instead, you begin living from the feeling that it is already unfolding within you, while the outside world simply catches up in its own perfect timing. Notice how different life feels when you stop watching every situation with anxious eyes. When you stop demanding constant proof. When you stop measuring progress every hour or every day. Suddenly, space opens. Conversations become warmer. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. Situations that felt stuck begin loosening. Not because you forced them, but because you finally allowed them to move naturally. The unbothered mind quietly carries one powerful belief. Everything is already unfolding exactly as it should. It does not cling, it does not beg, it simply rests in confidence. Pressure creates resistance. Relaxation creates movement. That is why forced positivity rarely lasts, while quiet conviction keeps producing lasting results. Life responds less to words spoken through tension and more to certainty felt in deep stillness. When your inner conflict finally disappears, much of the outer resistance begins disappearing with it. There will still be moments when life appears to disagree with what you believe inside. The older version of you might have panicked, questioned everything, or rushed back into emotional chaos. But now you understand something far more powerful. A temporary contradiction is not the end of the story. It is often part of the transition. Life sometimes rearranges every piece before revealing the new picture. That rearrangement may feel uncomfortable before it becomes beautiful. So you stay where you are. You remain faithful to the peaceful state you have chosen. You understand that the path between today's reality and tomorrow's breakthrough may not always feel easy, but it is always moving. You do not need to see the entire road before taking the next step. You only need enough trust to continue walking. Being unbothered means you stop taking appearances personally. A delay is no longer rejection. Silence is no longer proof that nothing is happening. Temporary setbacks no longer define your future. You begin understanding that life does not need your constant emotional supervision in order to work. It knows how to unfold when you stop interrupting the process. You allow people to be who they are without carrying their emotions inside your own heart. You release what was never yours to control. And by doing so, you create room for peace, clarity, strength, and opportunities that could never enter while your mind was crowded with fear. That is the quiet power of remaining unbothered. And once you truly experience it, there is no desire to return to the exhausting way you once lived.